Hello friends! Welcome to the new season of my survival series. In this video, you'll see how I survived 100 days in a modded world. It all started with creating a new world since my hardcore world tragically ended in the last episode. To avoid repeating the same mistake, I decided to switch to normal survival mode, as I plan to develop this world further and make it even more exciting. After creating the world, my survival journey began as usual. I spawned in a swamp biome, and nearby, I noticed an intriguing structure. This was my first encounter with a mod I installed to enhance the architectural design in Minecraft. Initially, I thought the mod only changed the appearance of villages, but as it turned out, it revamped most standard structures, including the witch's hut, which you can see now. I was impressed by the hut's exterior, so I decided to explore it. Before installing the mod, I had read comments about overpowered loot being found in structures, but after looting the witch's hut, I couldn't completely agree. While you might find useful items, like books, most of them are essentially useless at the beginning of survival and only come in handy later, when you could acquire them yourself anyway. But let's get back to the hut. As I entered, I heard noises that hinted the witch wasn't alone. And indeed, she wasn't, but that wasn't the biggest surprise. On the top floor, there was an evoker, who immediately summoned his minions. They managed to kill me twice. At that moment, I realized that choosing to play in normal survival mode was an excellent idea. Next, I wanted to find a spot to build my starter house. Thanks to my second mod, a biome locating compass, I discovered a mangrove swamp. However, since I was short on useful resources, I decided to look for a village first to see what I could find there. Finding a village took quite some time, but eventually, I stumbled upon a masterpiece. I absolutely loved the village's appearance. After looting it, I noticed that you can typically find books, food, or occasionally a few ore ingots. What truly impressed me, though, was the addition of mob heads as part of the interiors. It's such a cool detail because obtaining these heads in normal survival mode requires a lot of effort. Since I had traveled so far to find the village, I decided to build my starter house right there. Later on, when I'm stronger and more equipped, I'll construct a better house wherever I want. I won't go into detail about building the starter house because I already have a video about it on my channel. By the way, maybe someone has already noticed, but I added a mod that improves the skin's detail, although it later caused some issues with video rendering. Also, I added a mod for the seasons. The next phase of my survival journey was mining ores, trading with villagers, and preparing for the Ender Dragon fight. In this video, I decided to focus on the standard game progression so that in future episodes, I could dedicate more time to the two main mods, which are both expansive and intriguing. So, I farmed enough blaze rods and ender pearls and set off to locate the portal. After looting several end cities, on my way back home, I stumbled upon a pillager outpost. Its design was impressive, but looting it turned out to be quite challenging. On the top floor, I discovered a pillager spawner, which made the raid significantly harder and added an exciting twist to the adventure. I also came across an abandoned jungle temple and discovered several other villages, each with a unique design. This made me appreciate the mod even more, as the variety in village styles added a lot of charm. Additionally, I improved my starter house, triggered a raid in a village, and decided to test the third mod, the hot air balloon. I must admit, figuring out how to control the balloon took me some time. At first, I thought it could only move horizontally and couldn't ascend or descend. I was almost ready to be disappointed when I accidentally discovered that it could fly downward. This made me realize there had to be a way to go up as well. After some trial and error, I found out that the spacebar was the key to ascending. Overall, the hot air balloon is fun. Another downside is that when you exit the balloon, you're immediately dropped to the ground, with no option to stay in the cabin. Next, I decided to test my fourth mod, the one that adds tea to Minecraft. At first, it might seem like a pointless mod, but in reality, different types of tea provide various beneficial effects for the player. Although the effects typically last anywhere from 30 seconds to 2 minutes, I still think it's a really useful mod. I also looted an underwater temple and set off in search of a pillager base. I spent about an hour of real time and traveled over 30,000 blocks before I finally found it. However, when I saw this castle, I realized the time I spent searching was totally worth it. Just look at this beautiful castle. Doesn't it look amazing? Unfortunately, I can't show you all the rooms, as looting this castle took me about an hour and a half of real time, which tells you there are a lot of rooms in there. Moreover, this castle has some really valuable loot, plenty of emeralds in barrels, golden apples, books, and more. When I entered the castle, I heard eerie sounds and thought there would be a lot of mobs. However, it turned out that the mobs were kept in cages. Only in one room did I encounter a new mob, the Phantom. In the video, you can see me swinging aimlessly, but in the game, I was hitting a large number of phantoms that couldn't be harmed. Only during editing did I realize that I probably needed to find the real phantom, which you see in the video, and defeat it. Once I did that, maybe the others would disappear. Also, when I first entered this room, I was affected by the slowness and blindness effects. Aside from that room, the only mob I had to fight in the castle was the evoker. At first, it seemed like no big deal, but it turned out there were about 6 evokers scattered throughout the castle, each in different rooms. When one activated, they all activated, making it nearly impossible to loot the castle. I had to quickly defeat them one by one and run far away from the castle to depawn the mobs. After all this time, I finally made it to the top floor, where the best loot awaited. Returning home through the Nether, I decided to loot the Trials Palace. After that, I spent a bit more time improving the area around my house. And with that, my video comes to an end. The upcoming episodes will be even more exciting, so I'd be happy if you stick with me. Wishing you success, and see you next time.